Alright lads, here we are in Monaco, round 6 of Season 2 of F1 2014 Career Mode. This is the big one, the Monaco Grand Prix. You guys know how important this race is to me and you guys as well. This is probably going to be our best chance to win a race this season, so we'll see how we do. It starts off here in Friday practice. We've got a wet session here, so it's going to be very interesting as we progress through this weekend. We've got wet conditions scheduled for qualifying as well, so basically, in this session, I'm just going to treat it as almost a test session. I'm essentially going to use up as much time as I can just to get a feel for this car, the setup, and just get everything right before I head into some of the more important sessions this weekend. Monaco, it's all about getting the flow going and just being comfortable in the car. Not really going for bonsai laps. You've really just got to build up your, I guess, confidence over the weekend, and then by the time you get to race day on Sunday, you should be at your peak, and that's what I aim to do every single time I come to this weekend. So here we can see just the forecast for this weekend. Practice is just about to start, so without further ado, let's go do some laps. Alright, so heading out on track now, we can see we've still got intermediate conditions, so for these first few laps we're just going to take it nice and easy, just use lean revs pretty much right around the circuit here, then we'll put it up into standard as we, I guess, build our confidence and just continue to get faster and faster. Here you can see lap 3 setting at 125.6, but coming into turn 1 we overshot the corner there, and instead of risking a lockup and maybe going into the wall, I just thought I'd go into the escape road here. Did a flick spin, went up the escape road, and I think we only just gave the wall a nudge there. So that was actually very lucky that we didn't make contact there. We're running with realistic damage for this weekend, and I'm running on the second highest setting. It's only one setting below what Arava runs in his Survive series. So you could just imagine how incredibly hard it is to keep the car on the track and just keep it alive, I guess. But at the end of the practice session, we ended up in first place. The track did dry up around the middle part of the session, so we were able to get some dry running in and just work the setup a little bit. And towards the end of the session here, we can see our R&D practice didn't go according to plan. Nico Hulkenberg moving over to the inside part of the track. I went to the inside to avoid him, and normally when you're the slow car, you're supposed to stay in your same line. But then he's moved at the last minute, and he's completely ruined the front end of our car. He's ruined our R&D testing here, and unfortunately we're not going to get that practice part unless Jenson Button went and achieved that R&D objective as well. But that's very disappointing as well, because it's our first R&D session of the entire year. Mclaren going with a cautious R&D strategy for this year, so that's very frustrating. If you remember back to season 1, Ferrari did it like literally every 2 or 3 rounds. They were going with aggressive R&D development, so for us to miss out on that is actually very disappointing. So I'm hoping maybe in the next round we can resume that R&D testing. But here we go in qualifying 2. We can see it's still intermediate conditions, setting a banker of a 125.6, pretty much matching what we did in practice there. And moving on to our next lap, we can see we've improved by 1.1 seconds, going into the 24s now and top of the session. However, it's not exactly a representative time, I don't think. Oh no, maybe it was. We retire at the end of that lap, and we ended up in second place for that session. So I guess maybe the track got even wetter after that stage, so I thought maybe it actually was a decent time, and then I thought, you know, maybe it was good enough to get us through to Q3. So there you go. Q3 now, and we're going for our first flying lap here, setting a 124.5, pretty much matching what we did in the second session. And now on our next lap, we go 0.2 faster. Set our fastest lap of the weekend. So coming on to this final lap here, we put on 3 laps of fuel, fresh intermediate tyres, and now we're going for a blast here. Still in second place here in this session. There's now only 9 runners left in this qualifying session here. So whatever lap we do now is where we'll qualify for the Monaco Grand Prix. 0.3 up on Lewis Hamilton's time through the second sector intermediate, but we're 1/10 down on our own lap. So on our previous laps, we did make mistakes in this third sector. And if we can get a clean run through this third sector, we might get pole here. Very nice run through the final corner there, putting it up in a fast. We might be a good shout here for pole position here for the Monaco Grand Prix. And we've done it, lads. just under a 10th clear of Lewis Hamilton in the end for our first pole position of this season. Nico Rosberg in third. And there we go. We're now in the box seat for the Monaco Grand Prix. I couldn't be happier. Let's go to the race. Alright, so climbing into the car now for the Monaco Grand Prix. The first time this season we'll be starting from pole position, and I'm very much excited to get this Grand Prix underway in just a few seconds time now. So strategy normally around Monaco, it's fairly straightforward. A one-stop strategy, stopping on lap 32 for a set of primes. Tyre wear, I'm not too sure how it's going to be this race, to be honest, because we've had a mixed bag in terms of in terms of tyre wear. Some tracks we've just been absolutely mauled for tyre wear. Other tracks it's not been so bad, so I wonder what we're going to get here in Monaco. In terms of the setup, I've actually gone for more of a rear tyre saving setup, so fingers crossed if I can look after those rear tyres, I think I'll be in with a good shout of winning this race today. So here we go, Monaco Grand Prix, wish me luck. Alright, so here we go, waiting for those 5 red lights to go out now, and away we go here in Monaco for the second time this season in F1 2014 career mode. And it looks like we got off to a fairly average start though, but the run to turn 1 is a very short one, and it's protected us here in this Grand Prix, taking the lead of the race from Lewis Hamilton. I can see a Red Bull there in 3rd place, so fairly good start now for us as we come through the hotel sections for the first time in this Grand Prix. We've got a clear lead over Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, who's got himself back up into 3rd. Lap 2 now, we can see there's 17 runners in the Grand Prix now. Lots of cars have returned to the pits for what I can only assume is damage with the realistic damage mod on, and just the narrowness of this circuit. It's just almost inevitable that contact and obviously retirements will follow. So we've obviously escaped that, and now we have a safety car here on lap 2. So this sort of neutralizes the race here, and we'll rejoin onto the back of the safety car in just a few moments time. I thought about coming in for a pit stop here, but I thought, no, I'll just stick it out on the super soft tyres, see how they go over the course of the stint, and just see how we go as the race resumes. Now going through here, this technical section of the circuit, we actually got very close to the safety car here, and if you actually touch it, you get disqualified from the race. So I made sure I didn't do that, while at the same time trying to give the safety car a little bit of a hurry up. So I decided not to come into the pits, because giving up track position is probably the worst thing you could do in this race, especially against 2 very quick Mercedes cars with very good tyre wear. So what we got to do now is just control this race, try and keep the rear tyres in check, try and make sure that they don't explode in terms of temperature, and also look after our fuel as well, because we started off with about -3 laps worth of fuel. So here we go, ready for the restart. We can see we got up to a fairly clean one. Lap 10 now, we can see going purple now, and as we're trying to sort of extend our lead over the cars behind. Lewis Hamilton still sticking in there in 2nd place, only a second back. Despite me putting in purple sectors, he's still matching me every single time I go purple. So that's very interesting so far. As we can see, lap 16, I'm just trying to push as much as I can. You can always tell when I'm pushing at Monaco, I leave absolutely no margins to the walls. As you can see there, going through Tabac, probably my favourite corner on the entire calendar. We leave absolutely no exit space on the exit of Tabac there, brushing right up against the wall. And you can see here, I give the wall just a slight nudge there as a bit of dust crops up from the rear tyres. So absolutely on the limit there. Lap 17, coming on to 18, we go purple there on an 18.5. And Hamilton's still sticking in there with me. He's only a 10th slower than us through that lap there. So we do have the pace of the Mercedes cars, and that's very reassuring as we head into the 2nd phase of this race. We can see lap 22, we're lapping our first bunch of lap cars now. John-Eric Verne going a lap down to myself and Hamilton. He's actually held up Hamilton there quite a bit, so that might help us out there in trying to build a bit of a margin now. As you can see, coming on to 23, we've lost over a second there thanks to the lap cars, and that was very annoying, but he obviously he held up Hamilton even more, so I can't exactly complain that much as we lap Grosjean there, parking it really on the apex there. That's very annoying that the AI just, they give up so much time through the corners, like especially when lapping, like going a lap down. They could just like leave it to the straights and not really hold up anyone. The way that they're doing it is they're holding up everyone and holding up themselves at the same time, so very, very annoying as you're one of the leaders trying to break away from the Mercedes cars. But as you can see, a few seconds ago, we actually lapped Fernando Alonso in a Ferrari around Monaco. That is absolutely ridiculous. This is supposed to be a driver's track. As we can see, Daniel Kvyat braking through the flat part of the casino or the swimming pool section. What the hell is he doing? We're going to lose so much time on this lap. We're probably going to be in the 20s. That is a massive drop off in pace. When you, like, to put it in perspective, we've been in the 18s or in the 19s for the entire first in here. That's been 30 laps. So cutting on to 31 now, we can see Nico Rosberg has got himself up in a second place. Maybe Mercedes giving Rosberg the chance to try and take the lead if he can. Maybe he's been saving his tyres a bit better. But lap 32, we've actually made it to our scheduled pit stop here. Almost half the race has gone by, and we've gone almost half the race on a set of super soft tyres. I'm very, very happy with the tyre wear so far. I must say though that getting to this recommended pit stop lap was very, very tough. The rear tyres really started to go off in the last 6 laps, and I really sort of lost control of the race there. So it allowed a few cars behind the 2 Mercedes cars to sort of catch up a little bit, but we started off a bit of a train, but that's not too bad. I think for the rest of this race we should be alright. As we can see, Sergio Perez has got between myself and Lewis Hamilton. That's going to do us a world of good now as we head into this second stint of the race. Perez, of course, still yet to pit, and I think he's made his pit stop now, but he's held up Hamilton just enough for me to get maybe a 2 or 3 second lead. And Nico Rosberg pitting on the very next lap. That gives us a massive undercut, and now we have about a 3 or 4 second lead over the 2 Mercedes cars, so it's looking very good at the moment. And Rosberg actually rejoins in front of Hamilton there, so Rosberg was a very lucky boy to get second place once again, despite losing the undercut to Hamilton. And now we're going purple despite lapping a Toro Rosso there. So now for the rest of this race, I'm going to try and go as fast as I can, try and set some purple sectors, maybe build myself maybe a pit stops lead over the field, and then maybe come in for a second stop, put on a set of super soft tyres, and then just secure this race win if I can. We can see lap 43, we have a 8.6 second lead to Nico Rosberg now, so that's a very convincing lead so far. As lap 48, we can see on the timing screens there, Lewis Hamilton has made a second pit stop, and now this is crucial in the context of this race. I think I had to come in for a second pit stop now because he's come in for an alternate strategy and he might actually undercut us now. So I have to react to Hamilton and put on a set of super soft tyres to go to the end of the race now. So this is where the race gets interesting now, because Hamilton going for 2 stops, he might undercut us here as we rejoin on the track. 3.7 second pit stop. But I think Nico Rosberg here is going to stay on the 1-stop strategy. So this is where it gets very interesting, because I've sort of got to cover off both Mercedes cars, and that's going to be very tough. I just got to hope that I'm quick enough to sort of cover off both cars. I got to catch Rosberg by about a second a lap for the rest of this race in order to catch him. We can see the gap is 3.7 seconds now. So for the last 10 laps, I've been pushing like crazy just to catch Rosberg, and it looks like it might actually be working now. Lap 65, we can now see Rosberg is only 1 or 2 seconds up the road now, so we're getting very close to him, getting very close to that approach wall on the entry to back there, but nothing we can't handle so far. Lap 65, just continuing to close the margin to Rosberg now. We're within a 1 second margin of Rosberg now, so we can use the DRS to get even closer and maybe plan an attack up the inside into turn 1. But now we're just sizing up Rosberg's car, trying to see where his strengths or weaknesses are around the racetrack. I can see coming off the final corner, the penultimate corner and the final corner, Rosberg has very nice traction, but through the middle sector and the approach to the third sector, my car sort of starts to shine. And coming into the Lowe's hairpin, I'm also very good as well. Just having a little look there at coming into the hairpin there. I think I might plan an attack there if I can get a nice run through Mirabeau. But now lap 70, we're closer to Rosberg's car than we've ever been through this Grand Prix, and going through to back there. A little bit of dirty air, and it's sort of lost us a bit of momentum now, but We're closer than ever to Rosberg's car. We're getting very close up the hill and through the casino section. I think we might go up the inside into Mirabeau if we're close enough. Probably not this time. We'll just tuck in for now and maybe go up the inside into this corner here, into the Lowe's hairpin, and into the lead of the Grand Prix we go. Rosberg knew we were quick through the hairpin, and I think he sort of knew the move was coming, so that's why he sort of stepped aside there, left the room, and we took the lead of the Grand Prix there. So now lap 77, we're trying to push on, just trying to build the margin a little bit, and we push a little bit too hard there, just chipping off a bit of our front left end plate there. And it's funny how at the end of the race, and the race is sort of technically over now, that I lose a little bit of concentration and I chip off a bit of my front wing there. So just a small mistake. Lucky I didn't turn in another tenth or two too early, otherwise I would have lost the whole wheel thanks to the realistic damage now. But here we go, coming out of the final corner now. It looks like we might just have bagged this one. It's going to be our first race win of the season in a McLaren.
That's the double, pole and the win.
So there we go, lads. Somehow we've managed to not only survive this Monaco Grand Prix with realistic damage mod, we've also won this race. The first time this season. I don't know how many more opportunities we're going to get this season, so we may as well take them while we can. We've won by 1 second in the end over Nico Rosberg. Kimi Räikkönen coming home in third, and Jenson Button getting fourth place in the end. That's going to do us a world of good in the constructors standings. When we see that in a few seconds time. A lot of DNFs in this race. We lost something like 5 runners on the first lap, and then gradually as the race went on we lost even more, including Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. So in the drivers standings we're looking very close to Hamilton at the moment, only 22 points behind. Rosberg is in second, only 19 points behind the championship lead as well. So the championship right now is looking very close, especially from second to fifth, and with Lewis Hamilton only 20 points clear of us, I think we're looking a little bit better in terms of the drivers' standings, I'll say that much. So, very good round for us here in Monaco. In terms of the constructors now, McLaren are now up into third, so we're looking very good for the rest of this season. Heading into some of my stronger tracks, including Canada and Austria, I think we're going to be right on the pace of the Mercedes once again as well. So, it could be a very interesting middle part of the season here, because we could get the championship lead, and then Mercedes might try and claw that back as the season progresses. It's going to be very interesting. The R&D is probably going to make the McLaren car very quick towards the back end of the championship. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are as well. But until my next video, guys, I'll see you next time.
Into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through.